Plants form the basis of all life on land. So what adaptations were required for them to make the leap from water? In this video series, we shall investigate. Make sure you don't get the awesome in your eye.
A short evolution of plants. A long time ago, plants used to live solely underwater. Problems associated with this were limited sunlight penetration and reduced oxygen availability. Algae were able to optimize this a little bit more by living at the water's surface. There were a few major challenges faced by plants on land: the force of gravity, moving food and water, reproduction, and avoiding being dried out by the sun's rays. There were several evolutionary solutions, including woody tissue, xylem and phloem, seeds and pollen, and hydrophilic and hydrophobic materials. 400 to 450 million years ago, plants moved onto land. The first were Cooksonia and Barraganawathia, according to fossil evidence. Afterwards, plants moved from mosses to ferns to conifers, and finally to flowering plants, the final evolutionary stage.
Hydrophobic comes from the Greek words water and fear. It refers to the physical properties of a material that repel a mass of water. So, if we pour water onto this material, it all flows off immediately, and nothing is absorbed. A hydrophilic material comes from the Greek words water and friendship, and refers to the physical properties of a material that can transiently bond with H2O through hydrogen bonding. So, as we pour water onto this, it is absorbed immediately.
Surfaces are termed hydrophobic when the contact angle is greater than 90 degrees, and hydrophilic when the contact angle is less than 90 degrees. There are three categories of hydrophilic plant surfaces.
The first, permanently wet surfaces, occur in fully submerged water plants. Submerged leaves have relatively smooth surfaces with no three-dimensional waxes, cell papillae, or hairs.
The second are water-absorbing plants. They have either porous surfaces or multicellular hairs. Peat moss, as an example, has a sponge-like surface structure. It's formed by pores within the epidermis, which can absorb up to 20 times their own dry weight.
Since some plants have aerial roots, they have evolved to collect nutrients and water from moist air masses instead of from the ground.
The third category is water spreading. Carnivorous pitcher plants form pitfall traps to capture and digest small prey. The combination of structural roughness and secretion of hydrophilic components allow the water to spread over the whole leaf surface to create an aquaplaning effect. In contrast to hydrophilic surfaces, hydrophobic surfaces resist the passage of water. The purpose of these surfaces is primarily to limit the loss of water through evaporation. Further modification of hydrophobic surfaces has produced secondary advantages. For example, lotus and elephant ear plants exhibit superhydrophobic properties. The top surface of their leaves can create less than a 0.6% contact area between itself and a droplet of water. It is speculated that this effect is used to maximize the effective photosynthetic area, as well as inhibit the growth of fungi and algae. The effect is created through waxy crystals overlaid on a spiny cuticle.
Adhesion is the force between dissimilar materials, whereas cohesion is the force between similar materials. A hydrophilic surface has a stronger adhesion force than cohesive force, and hydrophobic a stronger cohesion than adhesion. The balance of these forces determine the contact angle between a liquid and a surface. An application of this is capillary rise, which occurs in confined space created by a hydrophilic material. This is applicable to groundwater transportation as well as water transportation in plants and pipe flow.
In conclusion,
I trade my pond for some dirt. The sun, I might get burnt, and even though it might hurt, I know I've got to try. Less competition, but there's desiccation. Natural selection, change my leaves, roots, and stoma. Hey, plants are awesome, absorbing sun's rays. They photosynthesize for foliage displays. There's hydrophobic and hydrophilic functionalities from which they did pick